We stayed for 3 nights in Ollantaytambo. The town had a reputation as being a well-preserved example of a traditional Peruvian town, and it had excellent ruins surrounding it. It was also a convenient departure point for the day train to Machu Picchu, as we decided not to stay in the town of Aguascalientes. Our plan for the day was to hit the 3 main ruins surrounding the town. Eventually, there was going to be a lot of uphill climbing involved, but for now, we were just walking on flat ground.
No, this way. En grupo, grupal.
Diana.
Thank you for you having out there on the wall. Can you see? Yeah. Floor I am outside.
Okay, gracias. Okay, thank you.
Originally inhabited by a local ethnic group known as the Tampu, Ollantaytambo was eventually conquered by the Incas. The site was expanded and later transformed into a royal estate. During the Spanish conquest of the 1530s, the leader of the Incan resistance fortified Ollantaytambo and used it as a stronghold against the Spanish forces. They won a rare victory in 1537 by using the site's elevated terraces and strategic location to their advantage. The victory was short-lived, as the Spanish eventually took control.
ancient times. The sun came out.
Although the base of the ruins were busy with a lot of tourists around, as we climbed higher, there were fewer and fewer. Eventually, as we made our way up towards the Temple of the Sun, we only saw one or two people along the way.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bit of a climb with the altitude and the rough terrain, but the views from the top were worth it. It was a breathtaking sight, seeing Ollantaytambo in all its glory, and also the ruins we'd be eventually visiting on the other side. We spent about an hour and a half at the main ruin site. After a short break, we made our way across town and headed towards the other side of the valley, where we tried the second set of ruins. Fewer tourists attempt these ruins, so at times it felt like we had the place all to ourselves. The ruins on this side had been less well preserved, and the route to get there was quite a bit rougher. However, we eventually made it, and started climbing up towards them. The path to Pinkuylluna is rough, but as long as you go carefully, you can make it easily. It took us about 30 to 45 minutes before we finally reached the main building.
It's a steep climb, but
it was easy to understand how the wind kept the grain dry in ancient times. As we were up there, the wind was whipping pretty strongly, and we could feel its effects. It was a long but worthwhile day of climbing around the ruins. We found that Ollantaytambo was a great town. They had good restaurants, the accommodations were fine, and the ruins around the valley were just incredible. And, best thing was, it was the gateway to Machu Picchu. In our next video, we'll be traveling to Machu Picchu using the train for a day trip to one of the best sites in all of Peru.